Slurply diddly do, my G's. I hope you're all doing wonderful. Today I've got a little quick tutorial for Vital on how to make your own kick drum, synthesizing your own kick drum in Vital. I've made one of these in the past, but it was a little overcomplicated, I think, and I've simplified the process of designing a good, fat sounding kick drum. So hopefully after this tutorial you could go ahead and build your own one, and it's going to be slightly different to mine because when you're synthesizing a kick drum, literally the 0.0001% difference on a particular parameter can have a big big change to the whole sound of the kick drum. So it's really a fine tuning thing, as you guys know. But here is a kick I made, and well, it sounds like this. So in my opinion, has a lot of punch to it, a lot of weight in the low end, and sounds like a perfect kick to be used for that, that underlying foundation, that synthetic power. Perhaps you could lay a acoustic kick sample on top of it or something, but this will be a very nice, powerful way to beef up your low end in your drums. Okay, and the technique to create it is basically just involving two sine waves, a little bit of noise, and then some processing. And we've got two LFOs to control the shape of the kick. One is going to be used for the volume and one is going to be used for the pitching. So let's try together to run through exactly what I've done to create it, so you can go ahead and follow along. I'll try my best to not mess up the parameters because it's very important that they stay as they are. Okay, so two LFOs. Both of them are a saw down, which I've then curved down a lot. Okay, and so it becomes like a curved ramp down. And I've set the LFOs to envelope mode, and then I've also set here the timing to seconds, and then I've had it on 0.5. Okay, so the kick kind of happens here and then it sort of finishes, but it's good. It's not like repeating itself, So our first LFO is a slightly longer one with slightly less of a curve. You can sort of see the differences in the curves here. The second one is going to be a lot tighter. And so the first one is going to be for the volume, okay? We're going to apply it to a couple of things after as well, but firstly, basically, we're just going to do the volume of the sine waves. So we've got one sine wave down at -24, okay? And we're going to have the volume all the way down to 0, and then it's going to come up 100%, so nice and straightforward. And we're going to do the same thing on another one down here. The level is also going to be on 0, going up to 100, and this is an octave higher, okay? So one at -24, one at -12. And you can see the one at -24 is, just in case you want to see, how low down it is. It's really a very subby area, like 40 hertz or so. I'm writing this in the key of C. I'm just the exact pitch of the kick is unknown. Okay, you can figure that out, but the idea is just to use one MIDI note and get started. Okay, so -24, and then a -12, and so we're going to have both of those combining together to create the body of the kick. And then we're going to pitch them slightly differently as well. I've got the second one here, the one that's an octave higher, pitched down ever so slightly to -24, just to give a slight bit of realism. Okay, but anyway, this is all going to sound a lot fatter when we start adding some more effects, don't worry. But firstly, we need to also use LFO2 to pitch down the kicks. So we're actually going to put this really, really sharp one on the main pitch of oscillator 1 and oscillator 2, both up to 12 semitones, so it's a whole octave. Okay, so obviously if it was really high, it'd be very horrible and clicky, but just up 12 gives it that like automatic pitch drop, So we've got we've got the level being modulated, we've got the pitch being modulated. And the pitch, again, remember that's on a faster, the pitch drop is on the faster LFO, and the volume one is on the slightly slower one, okay? So once we've got that done, we can jump over to the next part, which is adding in some noise. And I used to use white noise, but it didn't quite gel as well together with the kick because it was a little too bright. So I used one of the other Vital noises, the HVAC unit, the HVAC unit, you know what I mean. And with this one, basically we have the level on 0 And I've just applied both LFOs to the level here. So it's actually got sort of two movements. The LFO 2 is the really, really quick one. That's going up a bit higher. It doesn't really ever go past sort of 9 o'clock anyway, but this one goes up a little bit more than the first one, which is our like kind of slower one. This one is just going up a really small amount, you know, a few percent here. Okay, and you can't hear it so well. You can kind of just about hear it here, but when we add the distortion, you'll hear it a lot clearer, okay? Because the distortion brings up all of the details in the high end primarily, you know? So here we have another filter, which is just being applied to the sample to take out some of the low end. Okay, but you won't really hear it anyway until I crack on with the effects now and add in the distortion here. The soft clipper is what I've used, and I've gone up 18.3 dB. Okay. So we're getting there, but it's sounding a bit muffled and distorted and strange still. It's not really a kick shape yet. But that's the foundation, okay? So the 18 dB distortion, smashing the sine waves with the noise through there. Then we're going to add on the compressor. And this is where the kick starts to take form a lot, you know? So what I've done on the compressor here is a little counterintuitive, but I've mixed the amount backwards, and it's on the fast LFO too. So where the pitch drop is happening on the sine waves to give more impact, I'm actually taking it off a bit on the compressor here, just because tonality-wise, that seemed to work the best. Okay, the attack is up pretty high, 78%, and the release about 59%. And I might have taken down the high a little bit, but that really then gives it its shape, you know. So it's almost like a slightly little bit too tight. We've got the loudness, the pokiness of the kick and the transient in there in the high end. But it feels like it lacks a bit of body. And so I'm going to slap on a chorus to give like a tiny bit of a stereo feeling, but only around 1%. Okay, so again, very, very fine tuning for kick drum creations here. Then this is the excellent part, which really gave the kick a nice shape here and made it a lot more, rounded and fat in the low end, and gave that body a bit more length to it as well. And here, so I used the phaser positive filter, and I've been careful to put this position right in the middle, because to the right, you lost all the low end, and just bang in the middle. The resonance kind of just like exactly hit the kick in the right spot to give it like a nice body kind of boost, you know. And the mix is on about 52%, drive about 4 dB or so. And I've just put a little bit of movement here as well on the actual cutoff of the phaser filter. So it's down here around 74 hertz, sort of like the fundamental part of the kick. And I've just put it on my my kind of slower LFO, the one that controls the volume of the kick. I've modulated that to go up about 56 units here. And so that really, really sort of finishes off the shape of the kick quite nicely, you know. I've given a little low end boost, and this is in an area around 67 hertz. The kick is a very like weighty, subby one. It's got a lot of low end in, but I like that in a kick drum personally, you know. But boosting here around 67. Just by ear, kind of where it felt like it kind of, gave it a bit more power in a clean way. Then a little touch of reverb at the end. This is only on at 0.3%, a very small amount. Yeah, it's not really, you don't hear it so much, but you don't really need a big reverby kick. I tried to just add in like a tiny bit of stereo information still into the sort of dry kick sample here. And obviously you can go and add your own reverb in afterwards, you know. But there you go. There it's like quite tight, but with a fat bass underneath it as well. So it's got a shape to it as well. You know, it really started to get its shape when I put it through the compressor, which I always say it's more almost like a saturation tool rather than a compressor. And with the phaser positive filter, with these kind of strange shapes, they sort of targeted the like real fundamental part of the kick. Gave that a bit of movement and a bit of boost, and that sort of like unlocked the shape of the kick drum even more, you know. So there I got like a super tight kick. I've called it the warrior kick, you'll be ready for battle for your mix down. And so that's pretty much it. That's how I designed the Warrior kick today. And yeah, I think it's my favorite kick drum I've designed. I tend to often use kick samples because there's so many great ones out there, and I don't always have time to spend hours doing a synthesis for each kick drum for each track. However, I was just curious to see if I could, yeah, just kind of improve upon my previous kick designs with the Vital, and I think I've done that today. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Hope you like that, my G's. Hope it helps you out. Again, if you try to follow along and copy it, it's unlikely that you'll get the exact same result, but I can guarantee you that the formula works. Having the low sine wave, a sine wave higher up, and then a bit of noise, and then trying to gel it together and shape it using a nice LFO for the pitch drop, a nice LFO for the levels of the noise and the oscillators, and then importantly running it through a lot of distortion, adding some shape with the compressor and the filter, a bit of stereo width where you can but not going overboard, and there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Well, that rounds off this video for today. Hope you guys are having a great week so far. As always, guys, you can check out the links down below. I have a one-on-one mentorship session and a lot of other production classes available. You can always book in on my website. Over there as well, we have many Vital preset packs and also Phase Plant preset packs available there to download. And I also have a wonderful Patreon community in my Discord where if you'd like to join, you can get really more hands-on with your production day to day and get feedback on your tracks and lots of other cool things like that. All right, my G's, more from me very soon. Have a very good day.